Hi guys, it's Amy and you have found Amy Loves Crochet. Thanks so much for clicking on my video. I really sincerely appreciate you guys. I wanted to share with you today a blanket that I made where I've mixed yarns, and that's not something that I normally like to do. Normally I'm pretty blinders on, tunnel vision of using a yarn with only its same kind of yarn. But in this case, I thought if any of you maybe were blessed as I was to have been involved with the Hobby Lobby clearance sales over the years, that maybe you've only got a couple of skeins of this or a couple of skeins of that, and you don't really know that it's enough to make something out of. Except hats. Like I don't always want to go to that default of a hat. You know, I want to make a blanket work sometimes. And so I did step out of my comfort zone in mixing yarns, which again, I rarely do. And so it felt really good. I felt empowered by, stepping away from that fear of what's it going to look like when I mix two yarns kind of thing. So the first one that I picked up was my, I love this chunky, and this is from, I think this is from a couple of years ago. Maybe it's only last year. I don't know. It's all kind of blended together now. But these skeins are 100 grams. It's 109 yards. It is 100% acrylic. It's a 5 bulky, and they suggest a 6.5 millimeter hook. The other yarn that I was working with on this is My Sweet Love by Yarn Bee, and it is also a bulky 5, 100 grams, but you'll only get 94 yards out of it. And it is not 100% acrylic, it's only 92% acrylic with 8% polyamide. So that's what was in the, is that like a polyester? The polyamide is kind of like a polyester. That was in that Forever Fleece yarn that I loved so much. And this recommended a 9 millimeter hook. So I kind of split the difference and I used an L hook, an 8 millimeter hook. And the directions to wash and care for it are the same. They both suggest 30-degree water, 30 Celsius, right? 30 degrees Celsius. This is the dryer marking on here is for delicates with no iron and no bleach. And the same instructions are on here, except you can dry it a little bit warmer, but I would still err on the side of caution and go with a delicate cycle if you were going to dry this. But the colorways for them are, this one is Oasis Beat, and it's just these great blues. There's the light blue in here tends to look a little bit sort of aqua. There's a little bit like of a green tinge. You can see it right there on that strand. So it kind of gives in and out of colors, and I really like this yarn. It's very soft, and I just wasn't sure if I was going to have enough, so that's why I threw some of these in there. The blanket weighs about 520 grams, so I used 2 skeins of this plus a little bit, and I used 3 skeins of this plus a little bit, and the blanket's about 32 by 32 ish. And I went back and forth with deciding if I liked the color play or not, and I really do. You can't feel enough of a difference to worry me, to bother me at all. And so what I did was I started with the I Love This Chunky, and that's 1 whole skein, and I wanted to finish my color along the ends and not have a change in the color like I sometimes do with color changing yarn. So I did go to the end. So then this is 1 skein of the My Sweet Love. And then I had some partial of the I Love This Chunky, and so I put that in the center. And then this is another 1 skein of the My Sweet Love, and then a 1 skein of the I Love This Chunky. So I did pretty good. I have more left than I wanted to. I was going to make like a longer lap size blanket, but when I started mathing it out and so forth, I turned and decreased because I thought I was out of yarn. When I am going to work with something, I pull all of the yarn out and I put it into a project bag. Well, I had taken just the 1 skein of each that I was working with to another location, to another sitting area to work on, and forgot that I still had more in my bag. So when I started the decrease, it was because I thought I was running out, and then I looked over in my bag and I still have more. So I could have made it a longer blanket. I could have made it, more of a lap blanket than a baby blanket, but it is a nice little square, nice little 32-ish by 32-ish type square. So You know, a lot of these Hobby Lobby clearances, like you don't end up with enough. And so I kind of liked the idea of putting those together. You know, so this cost me what, one, two, three, four. This was like a $6 or $7 blanket. Are you kidding me? I love it. I love it. So don't be afraid if you've got a couple of, you know, this and a couple of that. It doesn't have to be exact. Now this is what kind of threw me. And when I was looking at it and deciding to put the yarns together, they look almost identical in width to me, in thickness, so that they would be even Steven 5s. But one calls for a 9mm hook and one calls for 6.5. That was kind of like, why? But I don't notice it in looking at the blanket or in feeling the blanket. There's no difference in the texture. So don't be afraid to put yarns together like this, and you never know what you're going to end up with. You know, mix and match some great colors, whether they're similar colors like this or if they're just opposite colors. Maybe they're contrasting colors. That would look great too. I do have some other up here. I was thinking about putting together, maybe not these two, but I've got some of the Lots of Dots. I still have some of that. And I've got some of the Sweet Chunky Delight. Now, one of these, I also have, whoops. I also have some of the Lots of Dots in this colorway. So maybe those might not look too bad together. The green is, you know, not the same green, but it would offset that green. That might look good in a nice blanket too. So yeah, I think that when I do something like this and it doesn't turn out horrible, I'm kind of inspired to maybe try it again with some similar yarns. So I thought I'd go ahead and inspire or maybe motivate you. That's my direction on this, is to share with you what I'm doing, because I'm just a simple everyday person. So if I can do it, you can do it too. And hopefully you'll either learn, you know, from my mistakes to what not to do, or maybe I'll give you a tip or a trick or something that you'll apply and it works out well for you. I appreciate your time so much. Thank you for sitting with me today. Have a wonderfully blessed day, and please come back and see me again. Thank you. Bye-bye.